Hello and welcome to our first ever Sunday screening and chat. My name is Elizabeth Rockey and I am here with Rocky Road to Reading. I am so excited that you are joining us here live, or maybe you're watching the playback later, so you can learn more and celebrate with us Dyslexia Awareness Month. You might even be asking, what is this dyslexia? So we hope that you check us out and follow along on Facebook and Instagram, Rocky Road to Reading. We've been posting lots of fun facts about dyslexia awareness, but I want to start today with that definition of dyslexia from the IDA in 2002. What even is dyslexia? Dyslexia is a specific learning disability that is neurobiological in origin. It is characterized by difficulties with accurate or fluent word recognition and by poor spelling and decoding abilities. About 85% of students who have a primary learning disability in reading and language processing have that in reading and language. So they most likely are experiencing those symptoms of dyslexia. And perhaps as many as 1 in 5 have, in our whole population, have some symptoms of dyslexia. So this Dyslexia Awareness Month, we want to honor the experiences of our students experiencing and living with dyslexia, but also those family members and support systems that are around our students. So we want to send a special thank you to Nessy for allowing us today to watch this video, this movie here of Mical. I want to read to you a little bit more about what that movie will be, but shout out to Nessy again. They are a great organization and they offered this movie for free. If you don't get to see it live with us here, check out their YouTube for even more resources, as well as their app and free training this month for our Dyslexia Awareness Month for families and teachers. Be sure to check out Nessy. But here, we're going to go ahead and see a little bit more about the film and jump right into viewing it. So this film is about an 8-year-old boy, and this movie is set in England. And this boy cannot even spell his own name. He is bullied at school for being unable to read. This is based on the inspiring true story of Mike Jones and his mother bear, mama advocate, Pat. This movie is an emotionally charged story of Mike's dyslexia and how Pat's persistence and determination changed everything for him. When others thought that he couldn't, his mom did. So we want to jump right into this film and showing. So grab your drink, grab your popcorn, and join us today as we stream Mical.
Not a very good state of affairs, Mrs. Jones. Not a very good state at all.
There must be something you can do.
We can do. I was rather hoping you might have done something to help. You clearly don't read to your son.
But I do read to him. Every night. I have done for years.
Well, he's clearly not listening.
But his vocabulary is amazing. He's bright.
His classwork tells us otherwise.
No excuses for being lazy, Jones.
I'm not lazy, miss.
And maybe you're just stupid. You do not spell finger Thinger. Even a 3-year-old could spell better than you.
I tried to remember the words, miss.
Well, clearly your brain stopped working.
That's not all, Mrs. Jones. Your son is disruptive, violent.
But he's constantly being bullied.
It's your boy. He looks so stupid, but he can't even spell his own name. Yeah, Mical, spelled M-I-C-A-L. Should change the name to S-T-U-P-I-D. Stupid, 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 stupid.
Your son is out of control. I suggest you find another school, Mrs. Jones.
Stop playing with your food and eat your breakfast.
So, how's the new school?
Made any new friends? Or were the teachers nice? Did they teach you anything in school apart from how to shred?
I don't want to go to school.
You've got to go.
I feel sick.
Okay, let's just see exactly how close you are to death's door. Tongue. Well, that's biologically impossible. Oh, you're going to school.
I don't want to go to school. No.
All right, love. You okay?
Mike had a spelling test yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Said he copied all the words from the boy next to him.
That's showing some initiative, right?
He got 0, Peter. Even though he copied, he still got 0.
Maybe the boy next to him's a crap speller too, eh?
No, the other boy got them all right. Our son can't even copy.
Look, sweetheart. Mike's just a slow learner, that's all.
No, there's slow and then there's dead stop. I tell him the word is this, and then a few lines later he reads it as them.
Listen, every child moves at their own pace. He'll catch up. He will. I'm sorry, love, I'm gonna have to dash now. It's the men's final.
Read this passage for me. Then maybe you're just stupid.
Stupid! Can't even spell his own name!
Mike's just a slow learner, that's all.
Stupeid.
wrong with you?
Where have you been?
He's got dyslexia. They say it can run in families. He has difficulty reading and writing.
Is that what they call it now? Dyslexia? Well, that must have been what I had, and I came out of it all right.
You got a sports scholarship.
Well, exactly. Maybe that's what Mike needs. Get into sport, get rid of some of that aggression.
He needs more than just a rugby ball, Peter. He needs help. Oh, dyslexia is not that simple. He said it can vary massively from child to child. He also said that Mike has an IQ of 147. Well, he's incredibly bright.
Well, there you go then.
I don't want Mike to go through life without being able to read or write or to be able to communicate.
Shh. Look. Maybe this school, it'll finally be the one to sort him out. No, it will. Come here. Let's watch a bit of telly, eh?
I've just spent an hour calming Mike down. His outbursts are getting worse. He's now in the 3rd school this year, Peter. It's been over 6 months since we had him diagnosed, and none of these schools are able to help.
What about that dyslexia specialist?
What? The one we can't afford?
Well, there must be someone who can help.
Go on then.
against a trouble, meet it squarely, face to face. Lift your chin and set your shoulders. Plant your feet and take a brace. When it's vain to try to dodge it, do the best that you can do. You may fail, but you may conquer. See it through.
Brilliant. You two are bloody brilliant.
That's why he needs to go to a better school.
Come here, son. Well done.
It seems your son Mike is doing very well, and you would like to enrol him here.
Yes, and we won't be able to pay the fees.
Ah. So, what on earth are you doing here, Mrs. Jones?
Well, I have a proposition to make to you. My son Mike has dyslexia, but I've managed to teach him to read and write. How about, for a reduced fee, I will run a dyslexia department here in your school to help children with learning difficulties.
But we have no one in our school with dyslexia.
Oh, yes, you do. As many as 1 in 5 children has dyslexia. They're branded as either slow, stupid, or lazy, which harms them. They can become disruptive.
What qualifications do you have with regards to dyslexia?
I've read everything there is to know. English can at times seem illogical, but most words, well, they follow rules. I've created games and methods to enable dyslexics to learn. This one I call the pokey game. There are about 200 words that don't follow any rules at all. They need to be learned by sight as a visual memory. I will call out one of these tricky words, and then the pupil has to poke a pencil through the correct hole. Why don't you have a go? Said. Oh, you see? Mr. Freeman, I have lived years with the frustration and torment of seeing my son go through hell. I've seen a happy child turn into a defeated, introverted child full of anger. I know what it's like. Let me help them.
Wow. Well, if you are like me, we have just experienced quite the roller coaster of emotions watching Mical the film. To learn more about the film and the making behind it, more about Pat and Mike, I'd love for you to check out their website, micalthefilm.com. Again, special thanks to Nessy for allowing us to view the film this month for Dyslexia Awareness Month. And don't forget to check out their own trainings and free opportunities this month for Dyslexia Awareness Month on their website. Thank you so much, Nessy. I would love to hear your reactions and your feelings as you watch that film. What were some of your first reactions to the film? I'd love to hear them. Drop them in the chat box here right now, or go ahead and put them in your comments. We'll check those out and be sure to hear from you, whether you're here with us live or watching on the playback. Maybe consider, how is this family's experience similar to your own? Or maybe how is it different? If you are an educator joining us, thank you so much for wanting to learn more about our students and families' experiences with dyslexia. How maybe can we as educators in schools become more empathetic in response to stories like these? Or feel free to share and drop in that chat box, what are any other thoughts you had while viewing this film? I'm going to go ahead and check out those comments now. Thank you so much again for being here with us. I'm checking out the chat box now. I know there are lots of reviews about this film online. There's even a roundtable discussion that Nessy had with family members and teachers from around the globe. So be sure that you can check that out as well on Nessy's YouTube channel. I know that someone had left a review, and I want to share this review with you because I think it encompasses some of those first reactions that you might have also experienced with the film. And this comment here and review is from Mary Radcliffe. She wrote, "When I watched this, I saw myself as a child. I also saw my son, and I could see myself again as his advocate mom. This film will strike so many chords with so many people. It's very well done. No one who is dyslexic or is the parent of a dyslexic child will be able to keep the tears from flowing. This story will absolutely connect to people and change hearts. It's powerful. I've got to go dry my eyes now." Yes, thank you so much, Shamari, for sharing. I think some of those first emotions that many of us are feeling, whether you're dropping it here in the chat box or you'll share with us maybe later, those feelings of frustration and rage. Frustration as we experienced and saw Mike experience bullying, seeing those words lazy and stupid being thrown at him, even things like slow learner. Asking, what's wrong with me? You see that feeling of defeat. We saw also the craftiness and intelligence there in Mike as he tried to put his thermometer from being sick in his bowl of oatmeal there, and that feeling of anxiety. Many of our students experience not only those reading challenges, but also challenges regulating their emotions. As many as 20% of our students with dyslexia and other disabilities also suffer from forms of depression, and another 20% with an anxiety disorder. So for sure, there can be many emotions that accompany a learning exceptionality. Maybe your family's experience is not quite like theirs, but I wanted to take note that their experience was also one of running into roadblocks and red tape and barriers. The student experienced going to 3 different schools before the family decided that they would take up the cause to make sure that their son could read. And we are thankful for Pat's advocacy for her son and her mama bear tendencies. Go ahead and throughout the rest of our chat here, drop your comments in the chat box, but I'd love to make sure that we don't leave this afternoon feeling hopeless. Maybe those first feelings that we had were sadness or frustration or rage at our students' experiences, but I don't want us to stay that way. I want us to move from sadness to action and celebration and advocacy for our students. So I want to leave us with some recommendations, and my recommendations just so happen here to spell the word read. I want us to be able to recognize the road rage. I want us to be able to recognize the emotions and experiences of our students with dyslexia. Again, those 20% of students who are experiencing anxiety or disorder are in our classrooms. They might even then be in our families as well, right? We really want to honor those students with dyslexia and their experiences. Please lean in and listen to their experiences and join those on this journey. If we're considering reading a rocky road to reading, that's kind of where I have that analogy there of road rage. I was just at the International Dyslexia Association Florida branches conference, and we heard from Jared Blank. He is an individual with dyslexia, and you can read his story and his own voice story here in Running the Distance. I think it fits very well with our analogy of reading being a road. And in his story, similar to Mike's story, there were those experiences of frustration of not being able to read. But also there was a turning point in that he was able to get the interventions he needed to succeed, to end up getting his MBA and progressing through his career and advocating now for others. So I just wanted to give a shout out there to Jared. Our next letter here in our READ acronym is E, educate and empower yourself. You saw Pat do that in the movie. She's like, I'm going to get all the books I can on dyslexia, right? Whether you are like Pat and you head to the library, or you join us and follow along on our Science of Reading Saturdays to learn more about dyslexia and structured literacy, I want you to educate and empower yourself, whether you're a parent or a teacher. Personal studies and research is a great starting point. Joining the Science of Reading Academy, joining book studies from some of our great new Science of Reading books would be a great way to learn and study more. For teachers, we'd love for you to join some professional learning opportunities. If you have a chance to learn more about dyslexia, please do so. You might also consider and say, hey, this is something really meaningful to me, and I want to join and get my master's, or I want to learn more and get my certificate from UF, my dyslexia certificate, and learn more about dyslexia and the reading brain, as well as effective intervention and education. So, recognize the road rage and emotions of those with dyslexia. E, educate and empower yourself. A, acknowledge that you are not alone on this rocky road to reading. Your student is not alone on this rocky road to reading. And in fact, acknowledge the historical and highway systems that are at play. Our issue of illiteracy is not alone here, just in America. You saw in this movie from England, it's not an isolated issue. It's a historical issue that has plagued our country for a while, our education system for a while. And it's really hard sometimes to want to be part of the system as a teacher and also want to change it. So it's really important to recognize that there are wicked issues at play, lots of isms and root causes that are affecting the red tape and barriers that are in our students' way. So that last letter then is D. The last thing I'd love to call us to do is dismantle those roadblocks that are in our students' way and drive the way forward on this rocky road to reading. You saw that Pat dismantled the barriers of his Mike's inability to decode through maybe multisensory learning and some word games and things. And she was able to shift from a deficit mindset in her son to celebrate his strengths. We'd love for you as family members to also be a Mama Bear advocate like Pat, whether that's in an IEP meeting or advocating to make sure your student has the services they need. Or as educators, we'd love for you to think about dismantling roadblocks through use of assistive technology or universal design for learning and making sure that barriers are dismantled for your student. You provide multiple opportunities for access to grade level content, and you truly do all that you can to celebrate students' strengths and see them through to the end. We hope that you are able to take something here out of our acronym READ, that you recognize the road rage, educate and empower yourself, acknowledge the historical and highway systems, those barriers that are in the way, and then work to dismantle those barriers and drive the way forward on this rocky road to reading. I want to thank you so much for joining us on our first Sunday screening and chat today as we watched Michael. I would love for you to make sure that you're following us on Facebook and Instagram, Rocky Road to Reading. We are still in the middle of celebrating Dyslexia Awareness Month, and we'd love for you to join that journey. Thank you so much to friends, family, and colleagues who wore red on Friday to take back that color red from all the red marks that might be on students' papers, cut through that red tape, and make sure our students have equitable instruction in reading. If you'd like to learn more about reading and take on that E from our acronym, feel free to check out some of our Science of Reading articles or our Science of Reading Saturdays here at our link tree. Next week, we are going to be watching the film Our Dyslexic Children, an even longer film, so you might need some more popcorn. But we'd love for you to join us for our screening next Sunday of Our Dyslexic Children. Thank you so much again for being here today, and I hope that you can keep walking the rocky road to reading with us and fighting until every child can read.